Welcome to howtopassthepmexam.com. This is Jaquay Hiles, your host for this video, and I just want to talk a little bit about the PMP credential and why I wouldn't got the PMP credential, and what it's been able to help me accomplish in my career and in my personal life, honestly. I recently just got a LinkedIn invite from an individual that kind of had that question in his mind. Well, why did you get your PMP credential when you have so many other degrees, and it doesn't look like you really need it? He had different types of questions for me about if I have a business background, well, how can I leverage the PMP credential? I'm in project management right now, and I just want to be able to speak to that, if I ever get into an interview. So I'm going to try and talk about all that and a little bit more. So let's start back with why I decided to get the PMP credential. Personally, it was the right fit. I've always known I wanted to be a project manager since I went for my first bachelor's degree in early 2001 or 2002, excuse me, and ever since I had my first project management class in college, I knew that project management was something I wanted to do, and so I pursued first the master's degree in project management to help me gain the experience for the PMP credential, for being a project manager in general. I also went and got a graduate certificate in project management, and I say all those things because project management has been a very, very important part of my life and the direction in which I've been able to go in my career. And if you really want to be a project manager, I think you will seek education, both from the paid scholastic version of education, as well as buying books for yourself, researching, asking other people, making networking connections with individuals that have been doing it for a while, so you can learn from them, get mentors, all those things that I've done myself, and it's really paid off in the long run and allow me to reach a level of success that I desire, and to make new milestone goals for myself so that I can accomplish those as well. Being able to take on bigger projects and getting a job with no problem, because I have the skill sets and I have the professionalism, as well as the education and background to do it. So if you really want to invest in yourself, I suggest that you definitely do so, because it's only going to pay off in the long run, both in your salary, the things you're able to do and accomplish, putting together a plan of action for your personal life. I think is really important. I know for my finances, it's been a thing that I've been able to do. Also because of my project management skills, being able to organize different things. So again, I think project management really is a great career to have, and the PMP credential makes that career and your growth in that career much more possible from an employer standpoint and being self-employed. So if you really want to be a project manager and be able to back up some of that success, not that you couldn't do it without the PMP credential, because that's not to say that those without the PMP credential aren't as good of project managers as those with it. I don't believe that to be true, but I do believe that it just shows a bit more of an edge to your career, your experience and background when you do have the PMP credential. First off, there are plenty of jobs out there that won't even allow you to apply to the job of a project manager if you don't even have the credential. So just from a gateway perspective, the PMP credential will allow some doors to be open to you that originally were not. I think it's a great way to also network and meet other project managers. I've met over 100 project managers, and I continue to meet more and more project managers just because I've been associated with that credential. And PMI has really, Project Management Institute has really set itself up to be a foundational institution that makes sure the PMP credential worldwide is looked upon in high favor. So, it's not something that, employers don't recognize. It's not something that people globally don't recognize, because both do recognize the PMP credential. So when you sit down and you actually have the interview and you talk about that credential and your experience, your knowledge should kick in that interview, and you should be able to really, blast it away. If truly you have the experience and you know your stuff, the PMP credential just makes it solidified. Having said that, moving on to some of the questions that the gentleman asked me over LinkedIn.com. He asked me, why did you go and get the PMP credential when you have so many other credentials, business degrees? And the answer really, just like I gave him, is really because it's only going to better you. It's not going to take away from you. And understanding the business side is great, but you also need to be well-rounded. And I think more and more employers are looking for someone that can do more, than someone who's just strictly focused with an MBA. And not that an MBA or a person with an MBA couldn't, get something accomplished, but when you have that PMP credential, when you have that project management background and experience, I think you come in with a bit more of a different mindset than someone strictly with the MBA that's strictly looking to make money. How can I make money for my stakeholders? How can I make the business grow? But a project manager can also come in and say, yes, how can I make the business grow? But they can also come in and say, how can we get this accomplished in an organized fashion using best practices to accomplish the objectives or the deliverables for our internal and external clients, to bring them satisfaction and to increase our revenue. So, I think the PMP, again, just helps you be well-rounded as a professional in the business world. And, if you apply the PMP practices that you've learned from the PMBOK guide, that you learned from books like, How to Pass the PMP Exam by Rita McCahey, or one of those other individuals, like the book by Jennifer Green, Head First, for the PMP. I think then you can approach business objectives a bit more differently, and a bit more with more practices, and a different set of skills that you bring to the table. The other question that he asks is, how can I leverage the PMP credential, even though my background has been, so business focused? And again, I say to you, the PMP credential, in and of itself, is not going to help you to get the job. But again, it will open a door so you can speak to the right interviewer, the right hiring manager, to get the job. So, the PMP credential, has a lot of knowledge and experience behind it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be able to accomplish sitting for the exam, because that's a requirement that you have experience along with that. But from that experience and knowledge that you've gained in accomplishing the PMP credential, you should be able to speak to project management in the area of your expertise, whether that's in IT, that's in marketing, accounting, banking, whatever industry you're in. You should be able to speak to project management and how you accomplish goals and created streams of revenue for your organization, how you've been able to achieve difficult goals, work with a variety of people across cultures, and if you have international experience, that's even better. Because then you truly you understand what it is to work across different time zones, different people with different cultural backgrounds and different skill sets that you can work with the president all the way down to maybe in a university janitor. I don't know, but you have the background and experience to get the job done.